I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much.
With my brain hums with memory
Welcome, everybody, to the Red Pill Nation Hangout. I hope you enjoyed that music. Roger is allowing me to use that as the intro music. Yes, this is Naroki 5, and yes, I am doing a solo show tonight. I was going to put this off till later on in the week, but I found out something very, very recently, and I realized that I had to do this particular show because I'm probably going to have to do a Naroki 5 live stream tomorrow. And I'm going to have the reason why I have to do a Naroki 5 live stream is because of one of the topics that I'm going to be going over tonight. Before I go over the topics, where can I be found? Where can I possibly be found? I'm everywhere. I can be found at, in order of number of subscribers, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, MGTOW TV, Bradion, and YouTube. I am currently in the process of catching up on all of my outstanding saved content from all the interesting stuff I've seen on other things and putting them all up on places that are not YouTube so I can enjoy them there. I just finished doing it. Keep in mind, I release them at one per day. So yeah, you might not see them all right away, but yeah, they're all up. They're up at MGTOW TV. They are up at Odyssey. Gonna be putting them up at Bradion and in BitChute here fairly quickly. But yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much it for that announcement. I'm also at Facebook, Minds, Gab, MeWe, Parlor. Actually, I don't really load up at Parlor, Getter, and well, I don't even know if TLB Talks is actually even operating at the moment. But you know what? I'm going to just very, very quickly put the banner down here. I am at Patreon as the Red Pill Nation. Subscribe, please. These, like I said at the very start of the show, I'm going to be doing this until I die or find something better to do. So, by all means, folks, please send me some love. Send me some love, love. I would really appreciate that. And let me just get. Oh, god damn it! This thing can get a little twitchy sometimes. Just giving you a very, very brief description of what's going on tonight. There is a very, very, very heavy video content section about this show tonight. Reason why, well, that's just kind of where the cookie crumbles. The topics are, I'm going to actually start out with this one because I was actually at this event 2 days ago in person. You might, I haven't been able to find myself in any of the Edmonton videos, but it's there. Alberta Independence Petition starts out very strongly. 2, situation in Minneapolis heats up, non-involved residents attack. Trump issues Insurrection Act warning. Yeah, I got a lot of video content for that. 3, Don Lemon facing criminal charges or investigation over an incident where he interrupts a church service. Yeah, this was wow. Don't really that one needed to be covered. Number 4, and this is the reason why I actually had to do this one, mostly because it's like I said, I'm gonna probably have to do a Naroki 5 live stream about this in the next day or two. Ashley St Clair confirms every stereotype about women by switching to supporting trans. Basically, what's gone on here is Ashley St Clair, has switched sides. Now, I understand that there's probably a whole bunch of simps out there that probably not gonna like hearing that. You know what? You know what? I really don't. I honestly really do not feel sorry for you if you simped out for her. I don't.
Oh, look, I lost 2 subs just for saying that. Well, all right. Well, whatever. Topic number 5, woke UK video game accidentally turns one of its characters, Amelia, into an anti-woke icon. That would be Amelia. Yeah, I've got video saved for that one. That's a very, very interesting that's a very interesting topic. And topic number 6, and this one I think is gonna be while playing out. It's gonna appear every once in a while. European Union makes a lot of noise about Greenland, but does nothing. But before we get into any of that other stuff, got me. Yes, it's that time again. The tardies, stupid and proud. That's the tardies. Yes, that's right, folks. It is time for the stupidest fucking goddamn stuff that I have seen online this week. And where is that stuff? Oh yeah, here it is. Tardy Award number 1. And by the way, where do I find these tardies? Well, I am not subscribed to Blue Sky, so I don't have access to that level of stupidity. But I am forced to go over to Threads. Threads has more than enough stupid, although I do occasionally encounter some really stupid stuff on X/Twitter. But anyway, here is the first one. Truly and epically deserving of a tardy. One innocent bystander. Hey, USA, Canada speaking. Well, first of all, he doesn't fucking speak for me. We need Alaska for our security against Russia. We will pay you $7.2 million, which is what you paid Russia back in 1867. We'll look after your Inuits for you. Otherwise, no maple syrup. Yeah, this guy thought this was clever. Here's the problem with this. First of all, Canada doesn't have the fucking military to guard Alaska against Russia. And the whole situation around the Arctic is it's about national security, and it's about securing resources. But I mean, this dude is like, the especially stupid part about one innocent bystander's decision to do this is the fact that Canada has no goddamn fucking military to stand up against Russia in the first place. He thought this. Here's the part that's really weird about this one. He actually thought he was being clever. He wasn't. He stupid and proud. So yes, here's a retard clap for the winner of one of the tardies this week. Yay! I want to sit bystander, stupid and proud. Let's go on to the second one. This one, bullshito. Oh, especially stupid motherfucker. Yeah. Oh yeah. I practice stupid bullshito by smashing heads against the wall and not fact checking. Because if he had fact checked in any capacity, bullshito would have known that. No, first of all, Elon is not tied into the manosphere. The blue line thing, and like not everybody in the manosphere is right wing, is far right, or Trump, or Confederate, or definitely not Nazis. And I mean, like, this guy actually thinks that being a massive fucking simp is gonna make him a simp magnet. Oh yes, I practice bullshito, and I practice most bullshito by practicing on self. First, I punch Ralph in the face, and then I use the memory rock to knock myself on the head. Yes, it makes me stupid. I don't want to fact check. Thinking make my head hurt. Yeah. So for bullshito, I proudly give you Yes, Bullshito. It's the tardy. Stupid and proud. All right, let's get into the actual topics. I've got, first of all, let me just, because I'm kind of doing everything by myself here right now. Okay. Topic number one. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot of video content about this, so I'm going to start out with the stuff because I was actually at this event. In fact, I might even briefly show up at these, but this is about 2.5 minutes of video, so here we go.
So you only work 4 days a week?
Yep, there we go. And then, of course, we have this one here. Now, I am in this one here somewhere, but it's a drone flying over the lineup. I remember seeing this drone. I didn't actually wave at it or anything like that, but I remember seeing this drone. So here you go. Yeah, I am in that lineup somewhere. All right, there's more. Yes, there's more. I'm going to torture you with more. No. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You just have to. Well, I mean, if you're watching me, you're probably already brain damaged to begin with. So, this is the Calgary petition. This was done, I think, on the first couple of days. So here we go.
This is unbelievable. They charge you more tax. Wow. I know there's a lawyer in Minneapolis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Calgary. Now, I will do the one this is the one that I had the most reaction to because Red Deer is known as redneck, but yeah, this is the lineup in Red Deer. This is only about 1:03 long.
Oh my gosh, this is the lineup to sign. Wait. And, yeah, check this out, you guys. Way to go, you guys! Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This is so incredible. Holy shite. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me zoom. And it goes, the building is way down there. And yeah, and then into the building, and the building is full. Holy Hannah. This is incredible. Wow. Wow.
Okay, so yeah, the whole thing was let me just get that banner out of off there now. The whole thing, though, the lineups were huge. The one in Edmonton, they were smart enough to break it up to two lines. I was in a lineup for it at the end. It was fortunately it was about 5 or 6 degrees above zero, so it was actually a nice day. So I didn't freeze or anything like that. But yeah, it was a nice day. Made a few friends, talked to a few people. The guy ahead of me actually had participated in the Freedom Convoy, so yeah, that was a bit of a thrill. The whole thing was just absolutely phenomenal. There were some particularly nasty comments on the Red Deer portion of this, in particular on Yeg Wave and YYC Wave. Here's the thing that I noticed, but before I get into that, yes, the mainstream media, global. I didn't see CBC there, but I did see Global. I did see City TV. I actually talked to somebody on City TV. None of it actually made it onto air, probably because I told the guy at CBC at City TV. I played him this little bit though, and I'm going to play it for you now. Unfortunately, I forgot to download it, but I've got it here. So yeah, you're just going to have to listen to the audio.
This is the biggest fraud in the history of, I think, the world. The thing in Minnesota, daycares, tens of millions, has nothing on this. I'm talking about almost 300 billion with a B, billion dollars spent on Aboriginal programs over the last 10 years, and nobody knows where it went. The communities are deteriorating. Life expectancy is down. Where is this money? So let's talk about this. Last year, the budget on Indigenous programs, and I'm doing that in quotations for a reason, which I'll explain, was over $32 billion. Okay, for context, our national defense budget for the entire country, our entire national defense budget was $26 billion. We spent more on Aboriginal programs last year than the entire defense budget of the country. This is your money, by the way, your tax dollars. So they claim we spent the $32 billion last year and many billions more prior to cover things like water, housing, infrastructure. There's a big problem, though. We didn't cover any of that because these communities are still struggling with fresh water. They can't get clean drinking water. They're rampant crime, drugs, alcohol abuse, serious problems in these communities. They're so mad, they're taking back land claims, which we've all seen in British Columbia and all these other areas. So we spent $300 billion to do nothing for these communities, piss them off more, and have them come back and take land back. Now, back in the good days of Stephen Harper, he passed some really good common sense legislation, which said, hey, we are going to pass some legislation to ensure the accountability and transparency for First Nations. That was the act that he passed. It said, hey, all this money we're spending, it seems to magically disappear and nobody knows where it's going. We give it to various heads of groups and associations and charities and nonprofits, But the money disappears. Let's make it mandatory that they have to publish where the money is being spent. Let's have open financials, audits. So they did that, and they found rampant fraud. So there was sanctions placed against a lot of these groups that were receiving the money, saying you can't get any more government money. Guess what happened when Trudeau came into power? Not only did they didn't repeal the act, but they said they'd stop enforcing it, and they dropped all sanctions against the First Nations communities. So everyone that we found out was basically stealing the money. It wasn't actually making it to the community. It was getting lost along the way. We stopped sending the money, and Trudeau said, no problem. We're going to drop those. We will keep sending you tens and tens of billions of dollars. That should be investigated, because why? Where is that money going? Whose pockets did it end up? We're not talking about $10 million. We're talking about almost $300 billion. That is massive. That is like 10% of our annual spending as a country across everything. It's big. Now, a typically left-leaning news outlet called The Atlantic, which, by the way, I have no affiliation with at all, they wrote a very good article on this whole thing, if you want to read more. It's called Good Intentions Gone Bad, and they tell you a lot more than I can share in this short video, but it explains the problem of how this money essentially has disappeared and just created a worse situation for everybody. This affects every single Canadian. This is $300 billion of your money, and it affects every single Aboriginal community. So if you care about any of that, you should care about this. This is the biggest fraud in the history of...
Okay, the reason why I played that, and I think this is something that needs to be brought up to your attention, is that the three major groups that I saw slamming this, and it's kind of hard to, you take a look at those numbers, and they're going to surpass the stated goal for ratification of an independence vote fairly quickly. But the three groups that I see that are the biggest naysayers in this fall into three categories. One, the pronoun people. And this is a really interesting crowd, because this is the same crowd that is actually, and you can actually take a look at these people right now. They're the ones behind a lot of what's going on in Minnesota. Not particularly bright, but the pronoun people love to double down. The second group that does this, and this is something that I keep noticing with this, is that there's these stunning and brave individuals that will go on to these Alberta Independence feeds and will make these big, stunning, bold, brave statements and never come back. Or they come back, and if they come back, they will answer with nothing but snark. They won't bring any facts. Or, and I hate to say this, or if they do bring facts, it's the canned stuff from the mainstream media. And by the way, don't tell them that they're getting their stuff from the mainstream media, because you'll only make them big mad if you do that. But you know what? Yeah, if you tell them, that. And then the third group, and this is the most important one, which is why I played that audio clip for you. The third group that is really notorious for doing this is the Native American, are the Aboriginal First Nations reservations. To make a quote from Al Gore's famous documentary, which is probably more infamous now than famous, but I digress here. In that documentary, Al Gore specifically says that you cannot make someone understand something when their financial well-being depends on them not understanding it. And I kind of know, because I am Native myself, but I didn't grow up on a reservation. Most of the Natives, most of that money that is going to, there have been a lot of investigations. In some cases, there have been a lot of investigations that where Natives have died for being whistleblowers. Like there is a massive amount of corruption inside in a lot of these reserves, and the reason I hate to say this, but I mean, yeah, this what you're seeing out of the native out of the First Nations reservations isn't opposition to independence. They're opposed to independence because their money is going to disappear if Alberta separates, because they're not going to get the same deal out of the province of Alberta that they're getting out of Ottawa. Absolutely will not get that type of a deal, and for damn good reason. I haven't really looked into the corruption, although it's been suggested that because of my heritage that maybe I should, but I haven't looked into the corruption that has been going on these reservations. What I can tell you specifically around Alberta independence is that they, and if you're listening outside of Canada, or even if you're listening inside of Canada, if you've been hearing stories that the Native American community somehow magically has a veto over Alberta separation, they don't. It's what's the issue of the First Nations reservations, or the Native American reservations, was settled back in 1995 when Quebec had their referendum, right? Responsibility for those reservations falls back into the purview of the country that's in what would have been 95, which would have been Quebec. And the same thing applies now with Alberta. There is no there is no veto. The natives don't have a veto, and don't make the mistake of buying into any media hype that the natives do possess some kind of a veto. I could also, I mean, yeah, you don't even want to get me started on the residential schools, because that's another one of those ones where you're like, whoa, I did not know that. It's like, yeah, well, I do. So yeah, I was there. I might be in the I might be in the might be in one of the videos. I am not sure. I'm not really particularly caring whether you can actually see me or not, but I think I'm in there somewhere. Uh the only other thing I got to say about this is, yeah, the mainstream media lied. CBC didn't even bother showing up, probably because, and I know this from direct experience, there were two lineups there, as you saw in that video, both of them in excess of 2 hours. I will also reply with a couple of things. No, that video was not AI. There were a couple people that were stupid enough to try and pass that off. Yeah, they did literally run at one point. They almost ran out of sheets to sign, and yeah, the mainstream media did try to put this on. From a personal point of view, I got there, the lineup was already in excess of 2 hours long, and I went up. Took me 2.5 hours to get up to the front and sign, and by the time I left and got back to my vehicle, the lineup was even longer than when I left. So 5,000, 10,000 signatures. You took a look. The Red Deer one was one big long lineup. Calgary was pretty long. And I've seen other, which I didn't want to post up because you would have been here watching videos all day. There were some other ones there as well, where there was even in some smaller towns where they had lineups that were also fairly long. One of the key issues, and this is something that I'm going to have to emphasize here, is that it's not going to be enough, though, to just get 187,000 or 178,000 signatures. what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to basically blow Lukaszik's petition out of the water, and they're going to have to get somewhere between 600 and at least 600,000. If they could get 1 million, which, by the way, is not out of the realm of possibility, right? It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Then, yay, more power to us, more power to the people. Although, again, that's a communist saying. It's power to us, power to Alberta. And I got to also emphasize that while I am not yay gung ho, let's separate. I mean, after all, I have family. My birthday, for instance, is July 1st, 1967. That's Canada's 100th birthday. That's one thing. The other thing about this is that I didn't grow up in Alberta. I grew up in British Columbia. Most of my family, although my family is originally from Saskatchewan, it's like, yeah, it's not going to be a peaceful settlement. Hold on a second here. Well, no likes given. I don't know what your problem is, but I mean, if you don't like the live stream, then don't watch. That's a real simple answer for you. Anyway, to be more will be revealed as this goes along. That's all I'm going to say about it. And with that, let's move on to topic number 2. Again, this is going to be a shorter show because I am basically here running a solo. Okay, so then let's move on to the next one here. All right, so the next one. This is more Minneapolis stuff. And yes, I have got a massive amount of video to show you. Actually, boy, do I have a lot of video to show you about this one. I'm going to play do I have it here? Oh yeah, the Minneapolis mayor. ICE agents. Oh wow, I don't have it. I can't find it. I forgot to download it. Oh well, you know what? Here, we'll start it with the Minneapolis mayor one.
A radical just tried to ram an ICE agent and got popped. And you know what the mayor of Minneapolis said? You won't believe this.
Better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families...
That's right, the mayor of Minneapolis blamed ICE. Not the radical lunatic that tried to ram ICE, but just blamed ICE in general themselves. This is the problem with the radical left, the Democrats. They never admit when they have sickos. It shouldn't matter if it's right or left. A car should not be ramming anyone. And Democrats refuse to condemn it time and time again, and they wonder why there's such radical left-wing violence. Well, this is your answer. People like the mayor of Minneapolis. Brother, this is despicable. You need to resign.
All right, so before I continue going on about this one, I will point out that, there are plenty of videos on reels on Instagram, Twitter, and probably elsewhere that show you the overwhelming majority of at least I think it's about 70 to 80%, 75% of the individuals that are being apprehended by ICE. And this is something that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. They have criminal records. They are starting out with the individuals that have criminal records. I played a video, I think it's 2 shows ago, or maybe it was the last week's show, or maybe it was 2 weeks in a row, showing about how some of those individuals that got caught, that were allegedly these innocent Americans that got caught in the crossfire, ended up getting And it wasn't exactly what it was. But anyway, I've got another one here. This one is from early on in the protests. They've got numbers, and again, I have video content of them actually when they've got numbers just absolutely mobbing people. And I have also I could have downloaded like I could think of about 4 right off the top of my head of these protesters acting inappropriately. But anyway, yeah, here you go. Here's one where they didn't have enough people to attack the person, but they went after this guy anyway. But yeah, if you need a laugh, this one's good for a laugh. I'm just going to point out here that guy with the bullhorn gets absolutely fucking clocked, by the way. Continuing on. Oh my God, he was stupid, and he went after the guy with the bullhorn. Got clocked. Went up after him again. Got clocked again. I mean, you cannot make that up, man. That is just precious. But yeah, let's just keep this moving here. This is the one where Nick Sortor, and by the way, the next 2 are both going to be about Nick Sortor. This is where Nick Sortor catches a guy, a real rocket science of a dude with a massive MS-13 tattoo on his face. And I got to point out, Nick Sortor took some really serious risks here getting this one. But this is them breaking into an ICE vehicle and stealing firearms out of it. But yeah, here we go.
Almost there.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
There's some bullets.
Hey, that's a 47.
I don't know. Ain't no way.
Tourniquet there.
Did he get...
Okay. Hey, don't film that. He's out running. He got bumped Go.
Oh, shit.
usually, you know, if it's not contact, I like to put his hand on me. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, that rocket science, he got caught real quick. Here's another one, though, and this one happened actually earlier today. He was shooting in a Somali neighborhood, and somebody, they literally ripped the camera out of his hand. This one woman, and then she ran off. She dragged Nick Sortor for about half a block. Unfortunately for her, they got her license plate numbers, and they know exactly where she works. Fully expect within 24 to 48 hours is going to be knock on her door, fuck around, find out. But again, right? Hey, good on you for stealing a fucking camera. Here we go. Oh, and by the way, the black dude at the tail end of this. Oh yeah, real stunning and brave. Just absolute rocket scientist that was on his way to becoming a doctor or an engineer at some point when he wasn't ripping off the Minnesota taxpayers. Here we go.
Hey! Hey, get! What did she just do? She fucking...
Oh, shit. Okay, it's okay.
She took Nick's camera. She just stole Nick's camera. Let's get her.
No, give him the camera! You're gonna give him the camera!
Just tell her to give him the camera back.
Give him the camera!
What happened, Nick?
They just stole my camera.
Right out of your hand while you're in the car?
That's what the fuck you wanted, right? That's what the fuck you wanted, right?
That's what you did.
Man, listen, motherfucker, you better get the fuck up out of here. You fucking coward. Motherfucker, you a coward, bitch.
You have to leave.
You a fucking coward. Get robbed, you motherfucker. Get the fuck up out of here.
$1,000
Bitch. You fucking coward. You a fucking coward, motherfucker.
Nobody
Motherfucker, you trying to incite that shit.
Nobody stepped in.
Oh, wow.
Bitch.
Did you call that? Did anybody call 911?
You're in this neighborhood.
Have Kevin do it.
You fucking Nazis.
We got it all on video. We're not Nazis.
Yeah, you fucking Nazis.
We're not Nazis and we're not racist. I condemn Hitler completely.
You a fucking racist, bitch.
I'm not racist. I condemn all racism.
You a fucking Nazi.
I condemn all racism.
Why are you here?
We were driving through and we got followed. You guys followed us.
No, we're following you because who are you?
It doesn't matter. We're allowed to be here. It's the United States of America. Why do we have to leave?
What?
We're not leaving until we get the camera. You want us to leave? Give us the camera. Call your friend, get the camera back, and we'll leave.
Who took the camera? You guys want to scream racism, but yet you're treating him like this. Why? Why? Racism can go both ways.
You've been driving around 2 hours fucking recording me.
You guys were...
Oh yeah, dude. Stunning and brave. That guy with his hidden face, like, yeah, he was just like stunning and brave, that guy. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this last one, and then we can get into some of the other details. This is the one with the ICE agents, about the ICE agents being doxxed. This one is really disturbing.
Guys, we have some major breaking news, and has been confirmed that a whistleblower has bypassed DHS digital perimeter and now has released the unredacted identities of 4,500 ICE and Border Patrol agents. This is what they're saying. They are saying that this isn't a hack from the outside, it is a rejection of a mission from within. The psychological impact of an insider leak is massive. It creates a paranoia within the ranks because every agent in the briefing room is now wondering if the person next to them is the source. Data is moving faster than the agency can scrub it. While mainstream media platforms are trying to purge the link, the data has been indexed by distributed denials of secrets, and it's still circulating. So now 4,500 Border Patrol and ICE agents are on high alert. Now, if you guys know any ICE or Border Patrol agents and you are a neighbor, a friend, whatever the case may be, it is time to help protect your fellow American citizen who's trying to protect our country.
Okay, yeah, there have already been at least, I think there's been 2 so far, ICE agents that have had people show up at their houses. The people that have been doing this in particular, though, have also had the people who have been engaging in this doxing have also had counter protesters follow them and give them a taste of their own medicine. So this is continued. This is escalating. I think probably one of the best comments I heard about this is they're just they want a confrontation where someone dies. So far, the only person that died is Ms. Good. The issue is going to continue to get worse. Tim Walz is now facing impeachment for his part in inflaming the situation. Ilhan Omar there's a lot of questions being tossed at Ilhan Omar. This is getting really, really serious. Someone else is going to get killed. Someone else is going to get seriously hurt. Yeah, this is bad. You're seeing the usual suspects lining up on both sides. Ultimately, what it's going to come down to is that Trump is probably going to have to invoke the Insurrection Act, and they're just going to have to move in, and they're just going to have to let this thing play out. Here's the thing, right? It's not going to stop once the situation in Minnesota ends. There's a very clear pipeline of NGOs, of people training individuals. I see a lot of the same tactics, and there's a lot, and I suspect that when investigations start on this, there's going to be they're going to find out that a lot of these individuals are actually not even from Minnesota. There have been stories floating out, again, online, unconfirmed, because I'm not there on the ground. I'm not investigating this, suggesting that there are actually paid professional agitators taking part in this situation. I'm gonna probably say when they start following the money pipeline. The individuals who are responsible for this are probably gonna have some explaining to do. And you know what? I think it's well in just time. The other thing, and this is something that I was talking about on the previous show, I specifically recall Tim Walz actually deliberately trying to agitate the African American community in Minnesota to react to this. The Somali community is definitely reacting, but there is nobody else doing it. The actual African American community, the people who rioted during George Floyd, are not actually taking part in this, and I think because they know exactly what's going on this time. Again, there have been similar events to what happened with George Floyd, though. Piles of bricks showing up in the middle of nowhere. Actual training sessions that are being filmed. Here's the thing. They actually think that they're so immune. In fact, there was one case of a woman who doxed where I didn't download it from Instagram, but her daddy is apparently in the FBI, and she doxed the location of where ICE was staying in San Antonio, and was literally so full of herself that she posted up that she was waiting for the FBI to show up. I really do hope that when the FBI does show up, that somebody is there with a camera and they show her. If there's a individual a woman that I think needs to be perp walked, that's the one. And here's the other issue, and this is something that I'm gonna, because when I get to Ashley St. Clair, right, this is going to be a major topic of this point of discussion about this. The whole, there's a disproportionate amount of involvement in this of white liberal left. I'm not even going to call them liberal. I'm going to call them leftist women bored out of their minds that don't have anything to do and think that this is the place where they can go out and they can strike a blow and whatever. And this is, while this wasn't the main point that I actually wanted to bring up, and this isn't the thing about slamming women, there has been a disproportionately large number of women that have been arrested over this. And, when I get to the Ashley St. Clair thing, I will be bringing this up again. Yeah, like you're seeing it. And this is going to continue. Donald Trump is absolutely gonna have no other choice but to bring the actual armed forces in. Tim Walz won't do it, and the Minneapolis mayor won't request it. Donald Trump's approach to an issue like this is to basically fire a shot across the bow before they do it. And, the shot's been fired. Are they going to back down? Are they going to get smart? Are they going to put two and two together and back off? Yeah, maybe not. But again, right, that is just one of the things that occurred. Another one, and I have brought this guy in. Hold on a second here. I got to put a time marker on this one. We have covered this dirtbag a number of times when he was with CNN. He's lost a lot of his credibility and a lot of his respect. But I mean, he really, for whatever reason, protesters decided that it was going to be a great idea to just go into some random church and disrupt the service. Don Lemon knew this was going to happen and tried to play these people off as heroic. And I don't even necessarily know if anybody even in this church was actually, involved with ICE or anything like that. But yeah, let's just look at the video and you can decide for yourself.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about these very kinds of protests. And for some reason, in our modern era, people think that in order to have protests, you got to be, cordoned off to a certain area and, what time you can protest. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt. It's to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortably and how harsh people are being treated on the streets, you have to be willing to go into places and disrupt and make people uncomfortable.
So yeah, nobody has actually explained to me what it is that this church has specifically said or did that caused them to go in here. Don Lemon was set up, was probably called ahead of time, and he knew this was going to happen. By the way, I don't recall the protesters and the civil rights actions during the 60s smashing their way into churches and doing this. Like, yeah, that's not something that I read a lot about. If there's somebody out there that knows something about that, then you can call me, you can message me, and whatever, you can correct me. But yeah, let's go on to video too. And god damn, I cannot stand Don Lemon. Right? It's just like what a he's being criminally investigated for this, for damn good reason. But yeah, here we go. Another play on this particular event.
Going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution. When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about these very kinds of protests.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to play a short part of that. Yeah, no, he hadn't just touched down in Minneapolis. He was given prior warning and went straight to the church. So he knew this was going to happen. Then, of course, there was his disingenuous interview with the pastor of this church. Oh, yeah. Like, I understand you might feel this very strong need to want to punch Don Lemon in the face. If there's an example of a guy in the media who, I mean, even more so than Chris Cuomo, Jim Acosta, I think this guy, Joy Reid, is potentially probably worse. I mean, you know, and this isn't about race. This is about Don Lemon just being an absolute dirtbag. But yeah, and by the way, did I mention about that time that Don Lemon got drunk and just grabbed another guy's balls publicly at a bar? Yeah, he did that. That was actual sexual assault. I think he settled out of court with that. Just got to throw that in there. But yeah, this last one. And oh man, like this is just cringe. Just the disingenuous of Don Lemon in this one is just enough to make you want to cringe. Okay, but here we go.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a Constitution and the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
Yeah. We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here to worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yes. Okay. That's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to chronicle what happened?
Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. Yeah. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wow. Yeah, he is facing criminal investigation for this. Again, right. When it gets, I didn't bother downloading this because apparently there was another situation where a bunch of people were going to church and they were yelling and screaming at them too. Now, I am not Christian. I'm not religious at all. I'm atheist. Unless somebody can give me a very, very specific reason why you need to be targeting churches over the actions of an ICE agent, you know, the churches are not involved. And yeah, trust me, I am very, very critical of churches and what they do and how they act and how they conduct themselves and how fundamentalists of all types conduct themselves, right? Like this is not, I don't give Christians, especially fundamentalist Christians, slack. I don't. That's not what I'm about. At the same time, though, for me, somebody else going to church does not affect my day-to-day living. If somebody thinks they've got to go to church on Sunday to worship Jesus, That is their call to make. It is not what I would do, right? And I'm not going to condemn anybody else for any other theistic choice that they make, but yeah, the targeting, I just got to say this, man, like the targeting of churches is not acceptable. Like I cannot see a direct link between churches and what is going on and what happened with ICE. Like I don't see it. Like is there a disproportionate number of ICE agents that are Christians? I don't see it. Like that is, I understand there is definitely some hostility towards the Christian church and organized religion. I mean, I get that, but I mean, going after churches right now is just misplaced. And oh, by the way, just going to point this out to you, when that particular group of people, and I think they're starting to get a little bit sick and tired of this, when that particular community decides that they've had enough, I don't want to be you, the protester, the leftist, on the off chance you happen to be listening to this. I don't think I want to be you when they finally get pissed off and decide they've had enough. And yeah, they will get to the point where they decided that they've had enough. And I'm not saying that as a warning, and I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm stating that as a fact because I know about the history of Christianity, and I know about religious fundamentalism, right? I'm familiar enough with Revelations, for instance, to know that they will eventually, an eye for an eye, a cheek for a cheek. I mean, yeah, those are very good slogans inside the Bible. But I mean, you only have two eyes. You only have two cheeks. Sorry, maybe not an eye for an eye, but turn the other cheek. Yeah. They only have two cheeks. All right. Like, hoping that these individuals maintain a moral stance because they don't want to resort to the same kind of tactics that the other side is doing because they want to have the moral high ground. And I remember when Coach Red Pill talked about this. It's like, yeah, usually the side that is willing to get more violent is willing to use intimidation and whatnot. Usually that side wins. Here's the only problem with that. At no other time in history has the other side possessed a massive capability of shooting back. You feel free to fact check me on that. I mean, like the opposition, like the Christian community has the ability to shoot back. You might want to keep that in mind if you're listening to this and if you're on the other side. It's going to be somebody on, maybe not necessarily on Kick, but definitely somebody on Twitch that maybe might be listening, might be that way. That's really all I got to say on this issue. Yeah, and Don Lemon is a massive dirtbag. That's the other thing I got to say about this issue. So now I am going to get into topic number 4. Now, I really did not want this. This was the topic that finally caused me, and I cover the manosphere in this show, and it's really, really unfortunate that this happened, but it's not particularly surprising. Now, the song I'm about to play, Laura, I gotta say this right off the bat. Lauren Southern is not directly involved in this incident. when I get around, and I will be doing another Naroki 5 live stream before I get to Red RPN 478, just so you know. But you know, I think this particular song applies to Ashley St. Clair. So without any further ado, and just replace the name Lauren Southern with Ashley St. Clair, and you'll get what I'm talking about here. And by the way, no, I don't give a fuck if you like what I'm about to play. You know, I don't care if you're a leftist or if you're a simp. I don't give a shit. Okay? So yeah, here we go.
Yo, Lauren Southern, you attract unclean. Used to shame men for walking away from the scene. Talking about family values, acting so pristine. But look at you now, living out your own means. Single mom by choice, who you trying to deceive? Playing the victim, but it's your lies we perceive. Ex-husband's the villain, that's what you believe. Narcissistic trauma, you ain't got no reprieve. You pointed fingers, called men weak and lost. But look at your own life, check the high cost. Crying on Twitter, telling tales of pain. But it's your reflection driving you insane. Switching your stance, playing all sides. Trying to stay irrelevant while your dignity slides. Straight kind of feminist, now a centrist in disguise. Just a washed up grifter, spouting more lies. Cheated on your man with destiny, a blue hair slug. Hypocrisy so thick, you're stuck in the mud. Switching your stance, playing all sides. Trying to stay irrelevant while your dignity slides. Fuck Lauren Southern, she's a sorry girl, white trash. Fuck Lauren Southern, she can kiss my ass. Fuck Lauren Southern, she's a fake ass hoe. Fuck that stupid bitch, she's got to go. From right-wing darling to a centrist charade. Sold out your principles just to get paid. Flipping the script, you ain't got no shade. Sorry, white trash, in your own mess you wade. Twitter tirades crying out for sympathy. What we see through your mask, it's all just hypocrisy. Blaming your ex, but it's clear to see you're the common denominator in your misery. Turned on your allies, left them in the dust. Trying to stay relevant, but who can trust? A chameleon, always adjusting a thrust. Just a grifter, Lauren, in whom we discussed. Victim narratives, twisted and contrived. From drag con puppet to centrist jive. Always rebranding, just trying to survive. But you're exposing yourself, can't hide the lies. Fuck Lauren Southern, she's a sorry girl, white trash. Fuck Lauren Southern, she can kiss my ass. Fuck Lauren Southern, she's a fake ass hoe. Fuck that stupid bitch, she's got to go. Trek off the sod, feminist fraud. Switching sides like a lightning rod. Always a victim, always a martyr. But your story's getting harder and harder. Claiming centrist, but you're just confused. Spinning narratives, always abused. Pointing fingers, playing the accused. But your credibility's been long refused. Self-made martyr, casting stones. Living in a glass house, breaking your own bones. Manipulating stories, changing your tones. Desperate for relevance, through your groans. Cheated on your fed husband, thought we wait and see. With destiny of all people, it's hypocrisy. Now you're in a trailer park, trying to get cinched to front. Living off the lies, playing everyone. Fuck Lauren Southern, she's a sorry girl, white trash. Fuck Lauren Southern, she can kiss my ass. Fuck Lauren Southern, she's a fake ass hoe. Fuck that stupid bitch, she's got to go.
So yeah, again, Lauren Southern is not directly involved in this. Who is involved in this, though, is this woman, Ashley St. Clair. You might actually remember her from her OnlyFans account known as Sexy Laptop. Grifter, con artist, perfectly willing to sleep with whomever it is. And by the way, this is the reason why I played the Lauren Southern song. Effectively doing the same things that Lauren Southern did. Although Lauren Southern never fully went over to the left, and actually St. Clair's misdeeds are not as extensive, probably because she wasn't around as long as Lauren Southern was. You know what? She certainly had plenty of time and energy to spread. And by the way, I seriously doubt, that. I mean, if you looked like, say, like Brad Pitt and you liked her, she would probably be more than happy to go with you, or if she was in any way attracted to you, especially if you had money, which is why she had the kid with Elon Musk. That she was more than happy to go sleep with anybody that was willing to advance her career. I'm not going to get into any of the Lauren Southern stuff, but unlike Lauren Southern, and by the way, simps out there, yeah, you're getting fucking yours too. Like, you are absolutely getting yours, and I am not going to be fucking nice about it either. There was the issue with Elon Musk, but what happened is that she was listed as an author for this particular book, Elephants Are Not Birds. This book was aimed at and addressed it was a children's book designed to address the trans community and their attempts to try to convince younger kids that gender is a spectrum, and she put her name behind it. Now, what happened was, a few months ago, she ended up having a kid, and she wasn't getting enough financial support from Elon Musk, and there was a bit of a legal battle or something, and Elon Musk wasn't responding quickly enough. So what she did is that she went public on the New York Post, and then she just disappeared. Now there's a big battle going on, but over custody of the kid. And of course, the kid, and this goes back to the whole men's rights thing, right? Like, the kid is her legal leverage, her gravy train, for lack of a better word, to keep money flowing from Elon Musk, right? And again, I know how the courts work. It's going to be, even for a guy like Elon Musk, it is going to be extremely difficult unless he can actually prove that Ashley St. Clair is actually mentally insane. It's going to be extremely difficult for Elon Musk to get full custody. In fact, I'm going to probably just step out on a limb here and say that he probably isn't going to get full custody. It's not going to happen. He's probably not going to get full custody. The issue is that Ashley St. Clair, and save me the bullshit about her being Jewish, okay? Lauren Southern is not Jewish. Tommy Lahren is not Jewish. Roma Army is not Jewish. Laura Loomer is Jewish. But I mean, like, there's a large, long line of female grifters that are certainly willing to sell out and willing to tell simps whatever it is that they need to tell them in order to keep the money. Which, by the way, these guys don't. By the way, if you think you have any possibility of getting in with either with Ashley St. Clair, you probably don't, unless maybe you look like Brad Pitt, or maybe if you have a lot of charisma. But I mean, yeah, for the regular guys that are listening to this, it's like Ashley St. Clair and Lauren Southern, but specifically because we're talking about Ashley St. Clair here, like, you ain't getting in with this woman, right? It's like, I fail to see the reason why you're even simping out and trying to get her attention so fucking badly. I mean, it's fucking pathetic. It is. Sorry, I have to be rude here. It is pathetic. It's pathetic. It's stupid. It's stimpy. You know. So yeah. So what did she do? Well, let's go back to this one here, and I'm going to read this off to you. I feel immense guilt for my role, and even more guilt for the things that I said in the past. That may have caused my son's sister more pain. I DRK know how to make amends for many of these things, but I have been trying incredibly hard privately to learn and advocate for those within the trans community that I've heard. I also haven't said much on this because I have gone back and forth over whether my voice will be helpful in this issue, since it will be framed as disingenuous or just turning because I'm scorned. Even this reply will become right-wing hysteria, but yeah, I'm sorry. Let me know how I can help. Yeah, she actually posted that. Ashley St. Clair has completely turned. Not me personally as a MGTOW. And I'm going to post up the MGTOW symbol here right away here, just because I want to rub some people's face in it here. Here, it's staying up for a full 3 fucking minutes. The MGTOW in me is like, yeah, there's no surprise. There's a few guys listening to this, though, and I am going to have to... Sorry, not sorry. I am going to have to be utterly fucking merciless with you. If you gave Ashley St. Clair money, or if you followed her, or you fucking sucked up to her, right? Especially if you defended her, especially when she was attacking the manosphere. Sorry, were you just one of those? Are you actually red pill? Were you actually in the manosphere? Were you just one of those fucking idiots that was just one blowjob away from fucking selling everything, every single value and every single belief you had out? I'm serious. Like, was that you? Are you fucking proud of yourself? Are you proud of the fact, and yeah, I am going to be rarely fucking nasty about this. Are you fucking proud of the fact that you just blithely gave it all away to some chick who didn't give a shit about you? She never gave a shit about you. Here, let me say that again. She didn't give a shit about you. That didn't care about you. That just saw you as a fucking cash cow. And there's going to be a couple people that are going to listen to this that are going to hear this, and you fuckers went along with it. You went along with it. You're a fucking simp. Grow a fucking spine. Grow some fucking balls. And even more importantly, use your fucking brain. Like, sorry, if you've been listening to the Manosphere for a few years and you just gave it all away because some decent looking chick, and by the way, I will say Ashley St. Clair is a decent looking chick. Spare me the fucking Jew bullshit. I don't want to fucking hear it. Right? But if you fucking gave it all away to her, you started giving her money and you started fucking sucking up and lining up in line to get her autographs on the off fucking chance that she might like you and sleep with you. Like, where the fuck was your head? Are you fucking proud of yourself right now? You supported a woman that anybody in the MGTOW community looked at and could quite clearly see that she was a fucking grifter. Perhaps even more so than Lauren Southern, because Lauren Southern at least didn't do a fucking OnlyFans. Right? Here, let me say this again for you. Those OnlyFans models don't give a flying fuck about you. You're a fucking cash cow. You're a resource to them. Now, I'm saying that as a guy who's actually slept with an OnlyFans model, But again, right, for the most part, that's what you are. Oh, sorry, am I stepping on your feelings right now? Is somebody over at Twitch getting angry and deciding go? By the way, if anybody over at Twitch decides to report me, be my fucking guest. I have 2 goddamn followers on Twitch, right? Like, wow, man, like, you're weak, you're pathetic if you fucking followed her. You're weak and you follow if you didn't use your fucking brain. And yeah, say what you fucking want to about the MGTOW community, that we're a bunch of ugly fucking virgins that can't get laid, except most of us aren't. You know, that we're a bunch of incels. By the way, MGTOWs and incels have very little in common. And if that's your excuse coming back to me, well, man, not only are you a simp, but you're a fucking idiot. But yeah, no, I'm not going to cut you any fucking slack on this. Right? Ashley St Clair is a grifter. That was very obvious to me from day one. From day one. Right? Oh, well, you're a MGTOW. You're paranoid. I don't give a fucking shit. If you don't fucking like the fact that she wasn't a grifter, then sorry, what? Let me just emphasize this to you again. This photo. She took her name off this. She did this and she converted over to the other side because of money. Sorry, is there what part of that is not clear enough for you? How much of a lesson, how much more do you need? So the next time you see Laura Loomer or Tommy Lahren or Lauren Southern, and I hate to say this because Eva Vlar's been able to keep her nose fairly clean, Eva Vlar or Roma Army, or some of these other women out there that are these hot looking fucking conservative chicks. Here's a fucking reality check for you. Okay? The difference between a conservative thought and a liberal thought is this. The conservative thought is only marginally better than the liberal thought, because the conservative thought at least makes an attempt to appear as though they're moral and upright. That's the only difference. Don't like me saying that? Oh, you think I'm being paranoid? Oh, you think I'm being stupid? Oh, you think I'm a virgin that can't get laid? I don't give a shit. You know what? Like, I'm tearing some fucking strips out of people over this tonight because there's fucking guys out there that absolutely need to have their shit ripped into. Fuck your feelings. Fuck them. Sorry. She's a sellout. What part of that hasn't sunk in with you yet? If you blindly supported her, if you fucking showed up and were like sucking up to her and giving her fucking money, and even worse, if you were subbing to her OnlyFans and followed her from her OnlyFans, right? Like, dude, touch fucking grass. Go listen to some fucking Rolo Tomasi. Go listen to some PUA content. Go learn some fucking game. Yeah, okay, well, don't. I don't give a shit. Okay? Manosphere is there for a reason. PUA is there for a reason. Go fucking learn some skills from those guys. For fuck's sakes and for God's sakes, man. This is the MGTOW in me calling out. Just stop fucking selling out for pussy, you goddamn weak, spineless fucking simp. You disgust me. Fuck your feelings. Fuck your opinion of me. Really, seriously, I don't go off on a rant like this very often. And again, it's not, you notice that I didn't, I mean, yeah. I've got to point out that Rearson sent me a very, very poignant comment about Ashley St. Clair tonight, and I'm actually going to read it off to you. She is a cheap-ass hoe. She is. In another fucking walk of life, she's a very expensive fucking call girl. Right? In another fucking walk of life, she's a fucking high-end escort. And yeah, Ashley St. Clair, I could see Ashley St. Clair going that route. Right? I mean, at least Lauren Southern didn't do an OnlyFans. Like, holy shit. And again, gonna have to spare just a little bit for Elon Musk too before I move on to topic number 5 on this. And that is that Elon Musk has really bad taste in women. As bad as Ashley St. Clair is, I mean, he also was with Amber Heard. Let that sink in. Amber freaking Heard. All right, let's say that again. Amber Heard. And Ashley St. Clair. Right? Elon Musk is the epitome of a blue pill alpha. So if you think just simply having money and power and prestige is going to make things easier for you with women, no, it doesn't, right? In fact, if anything, it makes you a bigger target. And I'm going to just say this one time, and again, fuck your feelings if you don't like me saying it. I don't give a shit if you think I'm being paranoid. Any involvement with a woman on any level gives her a metaphorical gun that she can turn and use on you at any time. If you don't like me saying that, then fucking prove me wrong. That's all I got to say on this. Gonna move on. Strangely enough, this is another female. Oh, this is an AI female, but I have to admit I was kind of impressed with what happened with this person. With this AI model. I'm going to play the video for you here. It's actually kind of funny. I mean, her name's Amelia, and she comes from this government-sanctioned game. And you're going to love how this ended up. But yeah, here we go.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm English, and I love England. I like having fish and chips and a pint at the local pub. I like Shakespeare and Dickens, Tolkien and Lewis, Harry Potter. I like pork sausage and dogs and fashion.
Haram! Haram!
But I don't like that. Brits are famously polite, but it mustn't mean we're willing to commit cultural suicide. Our institutions, the Church of England, the BBC, are a bunch of queers and nonces. How the bloody hell did we go from Churchill to you git? Sadiq Khan, the mayor? This is London, mate, not Afghanistan. Or Star Wars.
I'm getting that.
Our government won't even protect our schoolgirls from grooming gangs. Sod off, packy wankers! The police won't help. They're too busy confiscating garden tools and suppressing free speech.
That's right, miss. What have I done, officer? You've tweeted rudely, and you're under arrest.
Curry is fine, but we have several recipes already. We don't need 2 million Indians here to make it for us. There are 50 Islamic nations in the world. Muslims don't need to be on our island. They want to conquer it. The government says it must be this way. That doesn't make it right, does it, Robin Hood? These dragons that threaten our England won't go away unless brave knights rise up to slay them. Or did all the British bloodlines with any bollocks get killed off in World Wars I and II? Englishmen! It's your country, and it's being taken from you. Chav? Posh? Doesn't matter. We're already all in this together. I don't want this to be the future of the women of England, and I'm sure the women of Iran and Afghanistan didn't want it either. Your ancestors beat the Spanish Armada, Napoleon, and the Nazis. Surely you can handle welfare tourists. History will record what you do, or don't do. Get cracking, lads. Love, Amelia.
So, what is the story behind Amelia? Okay, she started out in this AI game, and of course, the name of it completely escapes me. But Amelia started out as the villain in this particular game. They wanted to portray her as far right, and it's, I mean, the game, pardon the pun, is a fucking joke, right? And I've seen a couple of videos of the game going through. When the concept of Amelia started to take off, the government pulled the game and they brought it back, and they took the option, which was probably the best option for the game, of Amelia out, and they didn't replace it with anything, probably because they didn't have the time. Now, the whole issue with this particular game, for lack of a better word, is the fact that somebody inside the British government actually decided that this was actually fuck. Somebody inside the British government actually thought that this was a good idea for a game. You know, I can't stop laughing about that one. Just let that sink in. Somebody inside the British government thought that this was a good idea for a game. It took off. Boy, did that go badly for them. Now, having said I'm a MGTOW, you know, I'm also a guy, so based on the video, would smash. I'm a guy, but you're a MGTOW. Shut the fuck up, okay? Like, MGTOW is a marriage boycott. It's not a fucking female boycott. Bye. Yeah, so what is, you know, it's very, very clear based upon what I'm seeing in Britain and what I'm seeing to a lesser extent in Vernier. And I got to point this out because I pointed this out, strangely enough, to the guy at City TV at the Independence Petition signing yesterday, or sorry, 2 days ago. Britain has had more arrests over the internet than the next 5 or 6 countries underneath them put together. There was a situation here in Scotland, I think it was summer of last year, where a 12-year-old girl actually had to wield a weapon against some creep and pervert that was attempting to apprehend her younger sister. And there were actually people inside the British government and people in the establishment British media that tried to make her the villain for defending her sister. Eva Vlar, who I mentioned in the Ashley St Clair thing, she is not allowed to go over to Britain because she is deemed detrimental to the country. But apparently the individual whose son set off a suicide bomb at the Ariana Grande concert, he was perfectly legitimate and he was more than welcome to come on over and do his thing. Here's the thing, right? Britain fought really hard to get out of the European Union because the European Union was dictating to Britain what it could do with its borders. I believe that was the single biggest number one reason why Britain left the EU, where they voted, where they had Brexit. And nothing has changed, right? Like they got the vote, and then they just proceeded to go. In fact, they've gone even further than the EU has in terms of immigrants. And and it's like they're getting it, like when you're at the point, and by the way, this is something that was emphasized in the game. Swear to God, this was actually something that was brought up as with labeling you as a potential terrorist. If you go online and check up government immigration stats, that makes you a bad person. If you are patriotic, that makes you a bad person. No, I'm not making that up. By the way, Carney in Canada, like the first bills that he has introduced in Parliament in Canada, would turn Canada into Britain on steroids. The only reason he hasn't actually pushed them through here is because if he did, Alberta would leave in like a cold second. It's already kind of like iffy as to whether Alberta is going to stay or not. The situation is that here's the great thing about Amelia, which I think is one of the reasons why as this AI persona has become so popular, is that you can't throw Amelia in jail. Amelia also, and this is the MGTOW coming out for me, a lot of people are a lot more willing to listen to something coming out of a female voice, even if it is an AI female. I'm going to put this out there. Amelia is potentially going to be pointed out as probably one of the first major AI celebrities if this continues, because what's going on in Britain cannot go on indefinitely. Because I'm even seeing this in the US. There's a couple of individuals who were like demanding that people don't eat pork in front of them when they go out, and it's like the Texas has reached the point. And by the way, they've also had situations like this happen in Michigan and in Minnesota as well, where where Muslim immigrants have attempted to impose Sharia law on their local Muslim populations. And no. There's one law here, and it's clearly, at least in the US, although there is something in the Canadian Constitution about this as well. I think there is a separation between church and state, at least in particular in the United States. So you cannot have a religion. Well, you can't have Sharia law anyway, but you definitely cannot have a religious-based law system in the United States. Like, that's not going to happen. And as much as I hate to say this, until Islam has the same type of reform that you've seen on, say, with that Christianity and Buddhism went through, you know what? The religion is simply, it is, no matter what anybody else tells you, it is incompatible with Western values. Sorry, it just is. And there's no dancing around that fact. It is completely and utterly incompatible with Western values. Oh, well, those are Christian values. But just shut the fuck up, okay? You know, like I believe in the separation of church and state. By the way, the separation of church and state applies to all religions, all theistic value systems. If I had it my way, I would also extend it to a separation between corporation and state. If I was going to put in any type of an amendment on the Constitution, or even in the country that I'm born, if I was going to amend the Constitution, yeah, separation of church and state, separation of corporation and state, separation of union and state, right? Kind of like this photo where Amelia is Warhammer 40K, and Keir Starmer is wearing EU chest plates and UN shoulder pauldrons. Yeah, I saw this and I definitely had to save it. This is definitely a cool looking photo. Hopefully Amelia sticks around for a while. I think the British government is going to try, or at least some factually unelected officials running the British government are going to do everything in their power to try to bury Amelia. Here's the thing. You can't throw Amelia in prison. Right. A hero, strangely enough, a hero will rise. And in this particular case, the hero, in a very weird and peculiar way, is an AI woman by the name of Amelia. And here is the thing. It was created by the British government, by a woke official in the British government, and it backfired spectacularly. And I'm loving every minute of it. Anyway, let's just get on to the last topic of the night here, and this one is really kind of interesting because I've been seeing all sorts of really weird responses. A lot of soy boys and a lot of pseudo internet tough guys trying to really talk tough around this issue. And this is about Trump and Greenland. I got me a couple of videos to play, about 2 minutes and 53 seconds between the two of them. But yeah, and by the way, it was these videos that I saw that were the reason why I gave one innocent bystander the tardy, because he absolutely fucking deserved it. But anyway, yeah, there's two videos here, and then I will just get into this because it will probably be a rather short response here on this one. So yeah, here goes.
Well, you said it, Sean. Greenland is essential for America's national security. The new domain of international competition is going to be polar competition. That is where more and more resources are being spent by our nation's adversaries and rivals, is the ability to control movement, navigation, lanes of travel in the polar and Arctic regions. Greenland is 25% larger than Alaska. Greenland is the size of 1/4 of the continental United States. With respect to Denmark, Denmark is a tiny country with a tiny economy and a tiny military. They cannot defend Greenland. They cannot control the territory of Greenland. Under every understanding of law that has existed about territorial control for 500 years, to control a territory, you have to be able to defend a territory, improve a territory, inhabit a territory. Denmark has failed on every single one of these tests. So they want us to spend hundreds of billions of dollars defending a territory for them that is 25% bigger than Alaska at 100% American expense. But they say, while we do this, it belongs 100% to Denmark. It's a raw deal. It's an unfair deal. And most importantly, it's unfair to the American taxpayer, who have subsidized all of Europe's defense for generations now. American dollars, American treasure, American blood, American ingenuity is what keeps Europe safe and the free world safe. And Donald Trump's insisting that we be respected, Sean.
And of course, this one.
Louisiana, the Louisiana Purchase. He said, I'm governor of Louisiana. And he said, I didn't call him, he called me. He's very proactive. He's a great guy. He's a deal guy. He's a deal maker type guy. And we need it for national protection. We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark has spent no money. They have no military protection. They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. So we'll have to work it all out. But he felt very strongly we need it for we need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to lead the charge. So we're making him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland. Greenland's a big deal.
Yeah, so here's the situation, what's happening up north, because I live up north. What has happened, and I know this because I've seen the map, the resource map, just for Canada. And here's the ironic part about all this. You know, I have to wonder whether Carney is actually attempting to break Canada up on purpose. The resources available in northern Canada would have turned it into an energy and resource superpower. They're going to have to build a road into Nunavut because there is just so, in particular, gold, silver, iron, uranium, just huge amounts of resources available in that northern region, just in Nunavut. That's just Nunavut. Then you got Northwest Territories, which also goes way, way. In fact, it goes north of Greenland, right? Canada does not have. Which again, I'm gonna briefly bring this up again. Canada does not have the military resources to defend it. They are going to require the assistance of the United States. Period. End of story. Now, another thing about this, and I'm just going to bring this one up temporarily here. Let's talk about U.S. strategic reach. The U.S. strategic reach is really, really simple. And it's not just the control of shipping lanes to and from the United States. It's also control of the shipping lanes, which is why the U.S. has got such a huge Navy. Control of the shipping lanes of all of its allies and the G7 and Israel too. And definitely control and the ability to combat pirates or any types of raiders specifically in the Western Hemisphere. So yeah, the U.S. has something with its Navy called strategic reach. That strategic reach also applies to the Arctic. And what Trump is doing, whether you like it or not, what Trump is attempting to do here is that he's basically trying to extend U.S. strategic reach to Greenland in order, and maybe possibly having some closer political union with Canada in order to have strategic reach into the Arctic and have access, because there is a lot of unexplored wealth and potential on those Arctic islands in Canada. Just saying, folks, just saying. And the US absolutely is the only country in the Western Hemisphere that is in a military and economic position to defend that territory. If you're not okay with that, I mean, I got one question for you. Do you really want to trust the Russians? Especially, and even here's a more relevant question. Do you want to trust the Chinese that they're going to bargain with and negotiate fairly with countries outside of the US if they get control of that region? Like, like if that's a problem for you, then by all means, fucking sell it to me. Make me want to believe that this is not a situation that is going to require that can exist outside of the US. Now here's the other part on this, and I have seen some rather really serious, and Carney actually said that he will protect Greenland from military invasion. And it's like, if the US was actually going to launch a military invasion of Greenland, the negative connotations for doing that would not, from a diplomatic and political point of view, that is not the best approach. The best approach would be to do what Trump is doing best, which is basically try to work out a deal with Denmark to do it. And, you see other NATO members, and they made huge, and the Canadian press as well has made really big splashes about, oh yeah, we will fight the Americans if they try to take Greenland by force. He's not going to take Greenland by force. Like, get the fuck over yourself, right? Oh, well, how do you know? It's, dude. All right, here. Actually, you know what? I am going to fucking explain it to you, because there are people out there that are literally that fucking stupid. Okay, here's the thing. I was around in '89 when the U.S. staged and I remember Iraq too, folks. I remember the amount of hype and the amount of propaganda that the United States and the military. Hold on, wow, hold on a second. That was a surprise. The U.S. military-industrial complex and the amount of propaganda that particular outfit put out before they made any type of a move to invade Iraq, to invade Panama, right? Like, I remember there was months and months and months and months and months and months of propagandistic buildup before they made a move to go after Panama, to go after Iraq. I am not seeing that level. I am not seeing that rah pro-military stance. That basically the other factors that would be in play if the United States were to use a military option on Greenland are not there. Please don't fucking argue with me about this one, because I know, right? I remember Panama. I remember Iraq, right? Like, I do. The same pattern of propaganda ain't fucking happening with Greenland. It's not, right? And ultimately, going down the line here is that, I mean, it's like, so you're seeing, and this is the part that is really hilarious for me, is the number of European nations that made this big deal about, oh yes, we're going to send troops to go and defend Greenland. And so you want to know how many troops they sent to defend Greenland? 34. The Brits sent 1. France sent 4, right? Now, the media made a lot of hype and hyped up these troops going over there, but I mean, they sent 34. Canada ain't gonna send shit. No member of NATO is going to intervene militarily if the United States had chosen to go in militarily into Denmark, right? Or into Greenland, right? Like, it's not gonna happen. And I know it's not gonna happen, and it's not gonna happen militarily, because the same pattern of behavior that the U.S. state has used, that they used with Panama in Iraq, is not occurring with Greenland. You could try and make 2 and 2 equal 5 on this, but it just ain't the case, right? It's not fucking happening. Deal with it. Sorry, not my problem. Is there some type of, this is, again, right, before I start, because I mean, I understand that to a great degree right now, I sound like rah Trump, right? This is a return to the Monroe Doctrine. This is the return to the Pax Americana version of the United States, not the globalist version of the United States. And what you're seeing with this is, and again, this also applied to Venezuela, is strategic reach and strategic control. And the U.S. considers the entire Western Hemisphere, of which Greenland is actually a part of, as part of its responsibility as it falls inside the Western Hemisphere. It does. Sorry, it does. And are they going to launch an invasion? Well, okay, if I start seeing a lot of news coming up, if I start seeing a lot of internet flack and traffic, if I see, in particular, Fox News suddenly start making all of these dangerous stories about Greenland over the next few months, then maybe it's a possibility. Trump is certainly willing to pull out the sword. In fact, he has used the sword before on, he has a willingness to use the sword, and that was clearly demonstrated with Venezuela, right? The U.S. is attempting to re-secure the Western Hemisphere. They are attempting to re-secure strategic reach for its vital materials, right? That's what this is about, right? Just like how Iraq, going into Iraq right after 9/11, achieved a dual purpose of eliminating Saddam Hussein and also demonstrating to Iran and Syria and North Korea and China that the U.S. armed forces were not to be fucked with, and they took out the 4th largest army like that, right? Suddenly, Iran and Syria and China and North Korea were not dragging their ass in negotiations, which had started occurring after 9/11. So, yeah. And for the Canadians out there that make all of this big ass deal about how they're going to stop the US, again, like, I know how an invasion plan works. The US is not engaging in the propaganda or mustering of public will part of a war plan in order to invade Canada or Greenland. It's not there. And the European powers have got enough issues on their hand Great Britain, in fact, and I will just very briefly show this to you again. This photo right here, Great Britain is not in a position to do anything at this point, and Great Britain won't be able to do anything. Yeah, all of the European nations have got some serious issues of their own to deal with. They're being culturally undermined by globalists running their governments at this point, and that would include Canada. So yeah, is Trump going to take Greenland? Well, I mean, yeah, he will engage in some tough negotiations, but I mean, yeah, he wrote this book. You might remember it. It's called The Art of the Deal, right? Trump's strength. And again, I got to say this, I am not Team Trump, right? Donald Trump is part of the Pax Americana faction of the two wings of the bird. Right? You know, yeah, if I had to pick between the two, I would probably pick, but again, right, I'm not expecting moral leadership out of Trump, right? Like Trump is following the Monroe Doctrine, and he's also exercising strategic reach on the trade lanes, and he's doing what he can to secure the U.S. borders from potential invasion. That is what he's doing. So with that, just going to have to say, it's like, yeah, no, if you like all of those idiots that I am seeing on Twitter and Instagram, and in particular on Threads, I mean, god damn, those if you're a leftist and you're listening to this, it's like, god fucking damn, like, could you be any more pathetic? Like, seriously, could you be any more fucking pathetic? Right? You know, that's what's happening. Right? Is he going to succeed? If I were a betting man, and sometimes I am, but I mean, would I bet that he will eventually pry Greenland from Denmark and add it into the US empire? Yeah, I'd say that it probably would be the case. And yeah, I've pretty much talked out here. I've somehow managed to make this last 2 hours. So here we go with a product endorsement from Barack Obama. NAI, Barack Obama.
If you're a thought criminal, then 10 foil hats are us, as you covered. With one of their stylish hats, you can be protected from all of the things that people like me will insist that government isn't doing to you. If you suffer from the mental illness called thinking, then order yours today.
And of course, an endorsement from an AI, Taylor Swift.
For those who wonder what exactly the standards are on RPN, the answer is simple. The Red Pill Nation has no standards, none whatsoever, and it doesn't need any. Besides, if they had any standards, do you really think they'd have me, Taylor Swift, explaining this to you? Surely not.
And thus concludes the Red Pill Nation Hangout number 477. Yep, another solo show behind me. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see more of these. I will certainly try to do more of them. Like I said, I am capable of doing more of them. But yep, I'm going to take out with, of course, Inserted to by Anna Angstrom and Anna Ekstrom and Anna Dager. Closing music. Enjoy. And I will see you on 478. Oh, no, not 478. I will see you on the Roku live stream number 15. I believe it's 15. It might be 14. I can't remember. because I'm not that smart. Well, actually, I am smart, but not super genius. But anyway, here you go. Banner is down below, folks. Like, subscribe. And that is all for tonight. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you on the next one.